I'm purely doing this for fun, and subscribe to the Birdman.
If one of the titular planes showed up right here and bombed this opening logo castle, so many sins off. Alas,
if you didn't cut the scene short, then you would have seen 2 fighter jets fly by. Lying is not a good way to start.
Labeling this as World of Cars is basically them saying, hey, remember how you love Pixar? We know we can't legally call this a Pixar movie, but if you squint hard enough, you might actually not hate this.
The reason the World of Cars sign shows up is to tell you that this movie is in the same movie as the Cars movies, even though in all honesty it really doesn't need to, because 2 and 2 are easily put together, and also because Skipper was a character in Mater's Tales.
Moving their mouths like this to talk while flying would seriously f*** with their wind resistance and therefore speed.
How else are they supposed to communicate? With their missiles?
Natural things in the world of cars shaped like planes or cars. I get that Rushmore has giant faces on it, but we carved that. Where's the landmass that looks like an anatomically correct human? And how much is land going for on the Penis Insula? Can I get a bungalow on one of the Nard Islands?
Cropwash Junction's terrain features are supposed to be somewhat of a running gag. Also, a landmass that looks like an anatomically correct human? You ever tried to shape dirt and stone? Also, making me picture a scrotum.
Excuse me, it's called the Wings Around the Globe Rally.
Luke Skyduster here, working on a farm, dreams of greater destiny. It's a protagonist trait I've never seen before in a movie.
Wouldn't be an underdog story without humble beginnings. Also,
you're mispronouncing it slightly.
I am?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually pronounced Dusty Crop Hopper.
He farts crop dust. Just because little kids will literally always laugh at a fart joke doesn't mean movies need to keep including them.
A fart joke to us is a backfire to a vehicle. Also, he isn't farting the pesticide, otherwise it would be coming out of his exhaust pipe, not his wings.
Used to spray.
This movie just had Cedric the Entertainer say the words, just like Mama used to spray, and I can't decide if it's aware of how gross it's being, or if the world has just lost all sense of decency.
Putting aside the obvious poop joke, is it really that unbelievable that you can make your own pesticide?
Oh, quitting time!
The crop dusting planes don't have end-of-workday sirens like some factory or military base. There are only 2 dudes here. Just keep dusting until your dust tank is empty and you're done. What is this Flintstones bullshit?
The Flintstones never had physical sirens, you troglodyte.
I even made up a slogan.
Oh, slogans are good.
Corn. It gives you gas.
The best thing about that joke is the subtlety.
Corn can be made into fuel. It's called ethanol. Also, 5 extra sins for hinting another fart joke.
Start with some corn roast sprints. Drop it. Give me 20.
20 of what? Miles? Minutes? What does this even mean in this context?
Feet. Dusty is practicing low-level flying, or ground hugging. So stay at or below 20 feet.
But that's not you. You're a crop duster, and all you do is just dust crops.
If they hammered home that Dusty wants to race instead of crop dust exposition any harder, they'd have to have it on a constantly scrolling news ticker. Dusty has interacted with 3 characters in the first 5 minutes of this movie, and all 3 have mentioned it.
Dreamers can be a little annoying.
Crashes of all time.
10 sins for this fucking laugh. Also, hashtag the Birdman.
Mater holding that book with his freaky gas pump nozzle arm? Because the biggest sin in this entire universe is how anyone does anything without opposable thumbs.
Chug is using his fuel nozzle in the upper part of his fuel arm to act as a hand. Also, Mater is a tow truck, not a fuel truck.
He's an old crankshaft.
My buddy Sparky says the skipper was a legendary flight instructor in the Navy.
Christ, is this movie literally cars with planes? I somehow thought Disney was slightly less lazy than that.
Yes to both things. Minus 2 sins.
You're not a truck. So I was wondering if you would train me?
Is that a pun? I swear to the Wright brothers, I can't even tell when this movie's trying to make a joke.
Hey, Jer, you don't ask a Phi-Ed trainer to teach you to be strong. You train to become strong. Also, I swear that Ubisoft is writing Jeremy's lines. Also, you keep the Wright brothers out of this, a-hole! And
now I have to think about airports in a world where planes are sentient. Do airplanes have homes? Wouldn't they have a way to take off and land at their homes? Do they all live at the airports and only take off and land from there? Why would there be cars in the parking lot? Why would airports have parking lots at all?
Do you have a better way to design an airport for anthropomorphic planes and cars? No? Then kindly shut up.
I don't know how you talked me into coming to this.
Me either, since we just skipped right over that scene.
No, they didn't. You skipped that scene to mislead your audience.
Wow, that was vivid and specific. And exactly why I need you to come with us to the qualifier.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So ladies are ladies in this world, but men are planes? Why wouldn't they just use gentlemen? Are there humans in this universe? I thought we were anthropomorphizing here.
Would you prefer him to say lady planes and gentle planes? Because I'm sure you'd find a way to say that's transphobic.
This is the third competitor we watched do this course, and it's not getting any more interesting with each one. I feel like I fell asleep watching hockey and I woke up at 3 a.m. to the National Cornhole Championships.
Perhaps you should get your soda refilled so that you can do your job then.
For seed, not speed.
This race announcer becomes completely unprofessional and starts making fun of a participant because, God forbid, we go a full 5 minutes without being reminded that he's not supposed to be a racing plane. This is like Joe Buck mocking Tim Tebow for being in the NFL. Hey, Timmy, try another jump pass, ha ha!
Would not be an underdog story without being judged on appearances.
Seriously, with a prop that small?
We've got dick-sized jokes, y'all.
Propellers are not dicks. Also, Jeremy says boner.
Planes race steeplechase style rather than Kentucky Derby style.
Because this is an air race and not a derby race.
6th place. But what a close one, people.
Man, that was kind of long for a Pixar short, but at least it's over now. What? This is a feature film?
We get it, you ass. Planes aren't your thing.
Forklift guy that is not the Ferrari guy from the first Cars movie and who says nothing kind of sucks.
You literally showed him talking in a previous sin. 10 cents for lying.
You're not even on the map?
Yeah, pretty dry though, ain't it?
Oh, yeah. Especially if you like looking at dirt and corn.
How would you know? You made the trip in the back of a windowless delivery truck.
Given that he said you're not even on the map, this implies that they stopped numerous times to ask for directions. Also, he can see the corn and dirt right now, so he may have come up with that on the spot.
Finest smelling compost this side of the Mississippi. Original, creamy, and chunky style.
This character is gross and he should feel gross. He only exists to make things gross.
Dissing a farmer for liking a product that helps sustain his livelihood.
He's out, you're in. Congratulations.
So we've got a full 3 minutes for the whole "we thought you hadn't qualified, but the person who beat you cheated" cliche. Isn't the point to let us see how the loser handles the loss, makes peace with it, and grows? Why even do it if you're just going to reverse it that fast with no character work?
Because it's supposed to be a surprise. Also, Fonzarelli went first and set the race time. Since he was DQ'd, the time would have been benchmarked to the second place finisher's time.
You're a crop duster.
We're inching dangerously close to bonus round material here. If one more person tells him he's a crop duster and not a racer, I swear I'm shutting this whole thing down.
Underdog. Also, if Jeremy does not like a film, then no one can.
Flown thousands of miles, and I've never been anywhere.
These map makers labeled every continent except Antarctica and Europe. I get not labeling Earth's ice hole, but Europe? Is this about Brexit? I feel like maybe this is about Brexit.
So Jeremy uses a real-world event to sin a film that has nothing to do with said real-world event.
500 tomorrow. Don't be late.
I guess he changed his mind, cause reasons?
If Skipper was willing to train Mater, why wouldn't he change his mind? Also, the director has stated that Skipper has a soft spot for dreamers. So, yeah, he changed his mind.
Kind of oh, no, it's a special microfiber cloth.
Movie has time for this? This goes on for some time? Boring and unfunny filler dialogue is boring and unfunny? Just pick one. I honestly don't even care anymore.
Mechanics and specialists who socialize talk like this all the time, you ass.
How fast you fly? It's how you fly fast.
That doesn't make sense. This is the wherever you go, there you are of airplane advice.
Jeremy thinks skill is not involved with speed when it comes to racing.
Hold on just a second there. What makes Skipper the expert on racing? He was a warplane, right? Combat fighting is a totally different skill set than racing, right?
No, racing is one step down from combat flying. Anyone who has done both will tell you the same thing. Also, Jeremy, have you ever heard of the phrase speed is life? Speed is a key to winning dogfights.
I got time.
I don't. Skip.
Jeremy does not have time to do his job.
I'm afraid of heights.
God damn it.
That's a comment, not a sin.
We can increase power, or we can decrease drag.
Oh, come on, movie. What are you saying here? That his crop dusting parts are his genitals? Is that what this is? The cars don't get scared about replacing their tires? Oh, you just wanted to make a joke without considering the actual implications? Well, welcome to the reckoning, asshole.
Jeremy thinks parts mounted underneath planes somehow count as genitals.
Aston Martin's out there.
And your vaguely off-color puns can suck my cockpit.
Your eyes are not that appealing to me, you ass. Also, misuse of the word cockpit.
Does Kennedy Approach have to be a bad JFK impression? Are the kids laughing about that?
Kids will laugh at virtually anything these days, you ass.
Someone explain skyscrapers in this world to me. Do the vehicles work there? Live there? I'm not saying cars couldn't use multi-level buildings, but I am saying if they did, they would be much wider, with much different window ratios than these.
Yes, and they are.
Also, can someone tell me why this plane has emergency exits and windows? What the hell is this nightmare world?
Jeremy thinks it's weird for airplanes that carry people to have emergency exits.
To meet you too. Look at that propeller.
You mean her ass? Christ, Disney. How did this get made?
No, he means her propeller, you daft twat. Also, money.
Giant Giant speakers. He's getting a massage. Did he earlier do a rock concert? I don't see any instruments or microphones, so why are the speakers still here?
Ned and Zed used those for announcements while they were at the qualifying grounds. How do you not remember that?
El Chupacabra or El Cuckoo Cabra?
You had to go and drag John Cleese into this, didn't you?
Got anyone better to voice him? No? Then kindly be silent.
You have done many of these long-distance rallies, yes?
If the main event is a long-distance race, why did you do a short speed course to pick the finalists? This is like making the runners in the Olympics do the 100-yard dash, and then the 5 fastest runners do a marathon.
If that's what's determined to be standard for qualification, and emphasis on qualification, but if that's not good enough for you, what do you propose instead? Nothing? Then be silent.
You think you could help me set up a website?
Does a gigabyte?
Well, not if you pet him nicely.
I hate you.
Why?
Don't let anything distract you.
This movie is all about the ass.
Jeremy thinks an ass, a tail, and a propeller are all the same thing.
All these planes are fired up and none of them have chocks holding them in place. My question is, why aren't the propellers propelling?
Ever heard of brakes, Jeremy? Because you need those when you're performing engine run-up.
This is pod racing.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the film cliche.
Our first stage is a whopper. A dead sprint across the North Atlantic.
I'm no talking plane expert, but I'm pretty sure a crop dusting plane doesn't have room for near enough gas required to fly from New York City to f***ing Iceland.
Considering that the Air Tractor 402B, the crop duster that Dusty is based on, only has a range of about 660 miles on a full tank of gas. Besides, have you never heard of fuel stops? That is literally the reason why they are using the northern transatlantic route.
No one will be seated during the plane flying through different conditions from a distance montage.
When you say no one, you mean you.
I'd get good money if the abominable snowman appeared right now and ate him. This sign
We get it, Jeremy. You're not an aviation geek.
offers directions to baggage claim and ground transportation. And if that doesn't with your head in a world where the baggage is already inside of you and you are the ground transportation, then I don't know what we are even doing here anymore.
It boggles your mind that there is a sign telling people at an airport where things are.